This video is sponsored by Top Up Live.
The SN700 Finale is a new weapon released in One Human, and it's fit perfectly into the shrapnel beat category. For its mechanics, every shoot on enemy has 40% chance to trigger shrapnel. Interestingly, if you hit a weak spot, shrapnel active automatically 100 of the time. Usually, shrapnel fragments spread to other body part, but with this sniper, those fragments can still hit the exact same part you just shot. So, if you hit a weak spot, the shrapnel pieces will explode right on the weak spot too. One shrapnel active, you can get one reverb stack, which can stack up to maximum 5. Its reverb stack increases the number of shrapnel hits part by 1 and reduce weapon recoil by 7%. On top of that, its stack boosts the damage of the last bullet in the magazine by 4%. This effect disappears immediately if you reload or switching weapon. The absolute key feature here is when you have at least 3 reverb stack, your final bullet trigger shrapnel will launch extra shrapnel count equal to your current stack. Simply put, the more reverb stack you rock up before the final bullet, up to the max of 5 stack, the more massive burst damage from the 6th and final bullet will be. Because of this, hitting weak spot constantly is pretty much mandatory to maximize your damage. When I tested on dummy, a single mag pulled out roughly 6 million damage, which is insane for just one magazine. Even against the Manibus boss, you can melt it under a minute, or more accurately just 35 seconds without using any food or drink buff. For my specific build setup, I'm running the stabilized style calibration with extra critical chance. Honestly, frugal style will be better since it gives an extra 15% attack, but I don't have that calibration yet, so I'm using what I have. As my secondary weapon, I bring the rescue crossbow to apply the bullseye effect on the target when hitting a weak spot, which also grant extra 15% critical chance for 10 seconds. For my melee weapon, I went with Kukri for extra 30% attack and 15% critical chance after defeating enemy with it. For the K-gear slot, I chose the Cake Helmet. Out of 3 K-gear options, this helmet easily gives the highest accumulated damage because every time shrapnel trigger alongside reverb, the total number of fragments just multiply like crazy. For my support armor set, I'm combining 3 pieces Savior set for extra weapon damage and 2 pieces Lone Wolf set for extra critical chance. Alternatively, you could also run 2 pieces Renegade for extra weak spot damage, since our main target is Manibus, which has plenty of weak spot on its tentacle. Moving on armor material, I use Lunar Wolf for the helmet and Starfalco hide for the mask. Using Starfalco hide is crucial because it gives extra 8% weapon damage when your stamina is above 120 points. This effect actually doubles to 16 when you jump, shoot, or fire while in mid-air. Next, I equip Lunar Wolf skin on top and bottom pieces for extra stamina. The glove material honestly up to you, but I personally used Starfall Crocodile. Finally, I run Lunar Rabbit fur on the shoe to get slightly higher jump, allowing me to float in the air just a bit longer while shooting. For the mod setup, I have Weapon Symphony with Crescent Suffix on the helmet. This mod instantly gives you 25% weapon damage bonus right after switching weapon. You could swap this for momentum up, but I personally prefer Weapon Symphony. On the mask, I use Shrapnel Carnage with a Shrapnel Suffix. For the top, I went with Ardian Shield Lunar. You can actually use any armor mod here as long it has a Lunar Suffix and high level, but Ardian Shield is great for keeping you from getting one shot if the boss happen to land a clean hit on you. On the bottom, I use Deadshot Arrow. This slot can also be swapped with Distance Strike if you want to push for weak spot damage. Keep in mind that the deadshot bonus scale per critical hit, and since this sniper max out of 6 bullet capacity, your total crit damage bonus from this weapon will cap around 30 to 35%, assuming your previous crossbow hit count toward it. Meanwhile, if you run Distance Strike, your weak spot damage increase when shooting target further than 20 meter away. Since the distance to Manibus is way over 20 meter, you can get extra 1 weak spot damage for every away from the target up to max 20%, bringing the total potential weak spot damage from this mod is 40%. For the glove, I use Crit Amplifier Arrow. You can use Crit Boost instead, but Crit Amplifier just fit my setup better. Lastly, for the shoe mode, I use Trust Our Phantasmal, but you can use Dawnstar as a temporary substitute if you haven't dropped Phantasmal yet.
Looking to top up once human? Top Up Live is the place to go. They've got tons of games you can top up, including Once Human. Fast process, good prices, and most importantly, it's safe. It's super easy. Just go to topuplive.com or hit the link in the description. Pick the item you want, enter your UID, region, and server. Don't forget to use code JANE for a 12% discount. Then click Buy Now and choose your payment method, and you're all set. If you run into any issues, their customer service is solid and always ready to help. So whenever you think about topping up, just think Top Up Live.
For the Deviant, I bring a 5-5 Zapcam with Crackshot trait. If you happen to have a Lunar Zapcam with Crackshot, your result will be even better. As for the Cradle setup, you can check it out right here on the screen. The Steady Hand perk isn't actually must-have if you're soloing Manibus. But if you're running with a team and a teammate active that buff, you will automatically get that buff too. Finally, for the food and drink buff, I use Whimsical Drink for extra weapon damage, Bone Deviate Sausage for boss damage, Stardust Energy Drink for double jump, and Mixed Fry Hot Dog to deal bonus damage to mark target. If you aren't running a safe specialization, you can easily get away with just the Bone Deviate Sausage and Whimsical Drink combo. Honestly, fighting without any food buff yield a pretty similar clear time anyway, sitting right around 35 seconds. So when you face Manibus, the rotation goes like this. Throw down the ice cube, pop your Deviant, shatter the ice cube with heavy melee attack, mark the enemy weak spot with your bow, quick swap to your main weapon and just start blasting the weak spot continuously until the final bullet send the boss strike back in the lobby. And that's it, the complete SN700 Finale build special tailored for Manibus. I hope this helped you out. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed this video. What about you guys? Are you down to try this build on Manibus next time? Or are you sticking with the SOCR? Let me know in the comment.